Hello everyone, this is Rita Holmes, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up from Ohio. I am coming to bring you a video. I hope, there goes my iPad talking back to me. But anyway, I am here to bring you a little technique that I did, just a little bit different with triple time stamping. Here's the card that we're going to be making. But first of all, I just want to let you know that Stampin' Up added to their clearance rack. So there's a lot of new stuff out in the clearance rack this week that started today. So you might want to check that out because some of it is some of the newer stuff. And I'm sure you would like to see that. I'm trying to fix my cord to my phone so my phone doesn't die. There we go. Should have had it fixed already, but that's the way it goes. So anyway, you might want to check out the stamping rack. You can do that at my website, which is ritaholmes.stampinup.net. Click on clearance rack and you'll see all the goodies there. I also have a Facebook group, Stamp Crazy VIP, that if you are on Facebook, I would love for you to join. I do the video, the same thing I'm doing here, I do on Facebook at 10 o'clock on Tuesday mornings, and I add a PDF to the file, and you have access to that, and it tells you what I used and the directions of making the card, so you can always go back and have that in your files if that's something that you like to do. Do remember that our retiring items will be gone the end of the month. We will start our new catalog May 3rd, and if you don't have a demonstrator and you don't have access to a catalog and would like one, please send me a message and I will help you with that. Same thing with ordering. If you don't have a demonstrator and you would like to order stuff, you can order at my website. If you do that, I ask you to use my host code, which is down here, when you do order. So, with getting that all out of the way, here is our little technique that I'm doing with the cards, and here's one. This is what we're going to be doing. And this set is Gorgeous Posies, and it will be retiring the end of the month. This is Floating and Fluttering. It's the butterflies. It's in the mini catalog, and it will be gone the end of June. And I used it. And then this is from Positive Thoughts, and that is staying in our catalog for the next year. So I made 3 different cards. I will show you the insides. I also stamped on the insides of them to make it look a little bit more finished, which I just did one of the flowers that was from here. On this one I did the flowers in the greenery, and on this one I just did a die cut butterfly. So that is the 3 cards that I have to show you today, but we are going to work on this one, and I think we will start that right now. So it's just using a technique that I think we're all familiar with, which is triple time stamping, where you stack the 3 layers of your white paper or white cardstock and you stamp them all together, then take them back and put a mat in under it. This is basically this, just a little bit easier because you're stamping on one piece of paper. Then we're going to cut out the circle, and we're going to put a little scallop die cut behind it and pop it up to make it look raised. So I just want to show you that. I'm going to take you through the steps that I did with that so that you will know. So let's move this up here out of the way, and we will get started. I am going to bring in a piece of scrap paper, which I probably need a new one, but I try to use them up before I do anything. This is a 5 by 3 3/4 piece of basic white cardstock. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Stitched Shapes framelits. These are also retiring, which makes me very sad because I use these a lot. But we're going to use the second one from the smallest out of here. And what we're going to do with that is we are going to center it where we want it on our card front. And I think I'm going to go about right there. And then I'm going to take a pencil. Actually, I'm going to turn this over. It's easier to hold when it's this way. And I'm going to take my pencil and I am going to make that circle, the inside circle, like so. Okay? You don't have to worry about it. It's not going to be seen or anything, so you really don't have to worry. We will use that die cut again. Here is the scalloped circle that I used, which is in the layering circles, and it's the fourth from the smallest. And how I count those is this is the smallest, so that's 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4. And this is what what I used to cut that out. I did that already to save us just a little bit of time. So let's put that up. And if you're not familiar with Gorgeous Posies, this is a stamp set. I've used it in several videos and that because it's one of my favorites. I love the flower and the leaf in it. So that's what we're using today, and we're going to be using the flower, the leaf, the little speckles here, and the Get Well Soon. Okay, so let's get started. So I have my circle drawn there, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Posy stamp, and I am going to use my Highland Heather first to stamp with. So let's get that ready. So what I'm going to do is, if you see my circle, I'm going to make sure that I stamp a little bit into that circle. So I'm going to ink that up really good. And I'm just going to and then I'm going to do the same down here. Okay, then I'm going to clean my stamp off because I'm going to use the next color. On my stamp, so we want to get that cleaned off. Well, before we do that, let's take our inside piece, if I can get a hold of it, and let's go ahead and stamp the flower on it also. Okay, so now we have all of that stamped off. So now we're going to go to Flirty Flamingo, which is my favorite color. We're going to move this out of the way for a second. Bring this one back in. And I'm going to do 2 flowers in the Flirty Flamingo. So I'm going to add one right here. And I think one right here. Okay, so there is our Flirty Flamingo flower. And we got, I think we're done with the posy. So now let's bring in the little dots, and I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape on the purple one. So all I'm going to do is ink that up, stamp right in the center of the flower. And I'm going to bring my inside card back and do the same thing there. So I have all of those stamped at one time, so I don't have to go back and reinvent the wheel on that. Okay, we're going to bring in, for the center of the Flirty Flamingo one, I used Poppy Parade. So we're going to take Poppy Parade, and we're going to ink it up. Make sure I got it inked good. My pad's getting dry, so I really need to re-ink it. So there we have our center of our flowers. Kind of makes our flowers come alive, don't you think? When you get that center in there, and that makes it look more like a flower. So we have the center done. Now we're going to take the leaf, and the leaf I used Pear Pizzazz. So let's go ahead and add some leaves to our areas here. I think I'm going to put that there. I'm going to have one between here and there. Put one here, one up here, and then one down here. Okay, there is our leaves on that one. Let's scoot that over. We'll put some leaves on this one, and then that way we'll have our inside of our card done. I think I'll just take this away. There we go. So we're going to set that one to the side. We won't need it till we get ready to put our card together. Now on my sentiment, I wait until the very end to put that on. In my center, I'm going to, because I want to cut out my inside first. Okay. So let's put the scrap paper away. We don't need it. Next thing we're going to need to do is bring in our cut and emboss machine. Forgot where I set it. So let's bring that up here. And what I'm going to do is put my, and I hope you can see this. I'm going to scoot this over just a little bit. So maybe that's more in camera that you can see it. And I'm going to, where I did that circle, I'm going to lay my die cut, right at that circle to cut that out. Okay? So let's pull that back out so I can get this on here and hold it and let it run through. Okay, we've ran it through. Let's pull that out and we'll move this machine out of our way. Put it where I won't trip over it. Okay, so now I'm going to take this out. And there we go. Woo! About dropped them. So there we have that cut out. Okay, now we're going to put it all back together. I took a piece of Highland Heather and I cut it 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, just so I have a small border around there. And I'm going to take my adhesive and then I'm going to kind of go around that circle a little bit, just because I want it to really adhere to the cardstock right there. Make it flat. So I'm going to stick this on here, and I always have to pick it up so I can move it around. And it's not wanting to move on me. I have to pick it up. There we go. There we go. And I turn it over, give it a good rub, make sure that glue adheres to both pieces really well. And there we go. And I just had my, here it is. And I'm going to take now, I'm going to stick this back in the way it goes. And now I can see my lines and everything where I cut that, so I know where I want to be with my sentiment that it's going to go in there. So I'm going to use my good get well soon. And just let that soak in there for a second. And there we go. Cover that back up because that would make a little hot mess, wouldn't it? Okay, then I'm going to pop that right back out. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to glue it to my Highland Heather scalloped circle. And that you're just going to have a little bit of a border. Now you could use a bigger scalloped if you wanted it to look bigger, but I wanted my flowers to really show. So I left that off. I'm going to go ahead and put some dimensionals back here. And I'm going to use 4 because I really want it to stand up. I don't want it to have any areas where it kind of wants to give. So we're going to put 4 on there. And when I put this back in, I'm going to line it up with my flowers a little bit like we do triple time stamping. And that will be my triple time stamping made easy. For one thing, it's not triple time. And you just want to make sure you get it to where you have that hole covered. And so there it is raised up. Now what I did, let me show you on my card. Let's fold our cardstock over and burnish it really good so it lays flat. I could stop right here and have that on my card. But I thought taking another piece of white and laying it down and then putting this on, matting that there, makes the card pop a little more. The white does next to the Flirty Flamingo. So that's what I'm going to do, which is very optional. You don't have to use that many layers. I like layers. And I think they add a lot to your card, so I don't mind doing them. And I like for my cards to have a pop, you know. So I'm going to turn that over again and I'm going to rub that good. I want that all to be sealed. Okay, now I'm going to add my adhesive to this layer. Make sure I'm at the front the right way, and I'm going to add that to my card front. And then I'm going to take and add my inside to make my card look more finished. I just like adding the white on my insides of my card. For one thing, it's nicer to write on, and it just gives your card a more finished look. And for years and years I never did this, but I'm in such a habit of it now that I hate to leave it out. Unless I'm making a white card or something really, really light, I always add an insert like that. So there's our inside, and there's our outside. Now you could step it up. We could, and we are going to add some embellishments, but you could even add like, wink of Stella or something like that. But I tell you, I love these gold enamel dots, and they're going to be gone at the end of this month. So I've kind of ordered me some extras because I do like them. I don't like to use retired product when I'm showing stuff, but I do a card ministry at my church and stuff, so I, you know, don't mind going ahead and using them. I'm going to use the big ones since I have so many left of the big on this particular let's go down and put that one right there by the flower. And there we go. So that adds a little bit more to our card to just do some little bit of embellishment. So there it is. That's the card. Easy, easy, easy. Would be a great card that you could actually reproduce pretty fast. And so let me show you the other ones again. These are the ones we did. Here's the one I already had done. That's the one we did today. And here again is the butterflies and the positive thoughts. I'll show you those stamp sets real quick in case you're not familiar with them. I'll show you what I did. This is positive thoughts. It's going to be staying in the catalog. And I love the flower and stuff here, so I really like using that one. And then on this one, I used Floating and Fluttering, which is this stamp right here, and I stamped it 3 times. And then took the little stamps, and because it has all the little stamps, so you just ink those up and stamp right inside, even for your leaves and that. And then I took the Oval Occasions, which is leaving 2, and used the Happy Birthday out of it. And of course this one's Gorgeous Posies. So those are the stamp sets I used. I showed you the dies that we used. And the colors again that I used on this is Poppy Parade, Flirty Flamingo, Highland Heather, Gorgeous Grape, and Pear Pizzazz. So just wanted to show you guys all of these and hope that you liked them. And I want to ask you, if you did like this video and stuff, please give me a thumbs up if you've watched it, and also just hit the share button. That maybe somebody will see your share and watch the video also. I would certainly appreciate all that. And until next time, I will talk to you later, and you guys have a great day. Bye.